everyone, and welcome to Behavioral Grooves. I'm Kurt Nelson.
And I'm Tim Houlihan. And this week, we've been doing a little emotional excavation.
I don't know if it's a little, Tim, but we have been asking people to really dig deep into thinking about risk, thinking about quitting, and the things that they're totally stuck on. That's practically a behavioral boot camp, my friend.
True. Okay, but let's be honest. It's stuff that we all wrestle with, right? Like, should I quit my job? Should I speak up in this meeting? Why am I still working on this project that I secretly hate?
like doing this podcast with you, Kurt. Here we go.
My God.
All right. So we did this because a couple of weeks ago, we asked our Facebook community some tough, reflective groove questions. We've been trying to do a groove question a day. So if you haven't already joined our Facebook community, please go out and do so. You'll get this fun groove question. Sometimes they're silly, sometimes they're really reflective, but we get some interactions with those. And so in a couple weeks ago, we asked like what helps you take more risks or chances, or when do you know it's time to quit, or maybe the hardest one, what's something that you're stuck on right now? Those were 3 of those questions that were going on that week. I think we had a poll and another one as well. So
yeah, well, and let's face it, we all get stuck, right? Not because we don't know what to do, but because fear, uncertainty, and that good old status quo bias, it just keeps us standing still.
Yeah, and behavioral science gives us a framework for helping us, get through and make some of those tough calls, like why we stick to things longer than we should. Can you say sunk cost bias, right? And why staying in place sometimes feels a lot safer than moving forward.
Oh, almost all the time. Behavioral science actually does provide some insights on that, and escalation of commitment, sunk costs, inertia, all those things. Sometimes our brain is actually working against us when we think we're just being rational.
Our brain working against us, Tim? Come on. Is that? Well, my brain does that every single day. So,
Weird, yeah.
All right. So in this the special grooving session, we're going to be pulling together some of the best insights from the groove questions that we asked a few weeks ago, pushing past some comfort zones and knowing when to let go. We're going to talk a little bit about our responses, but we're also going to bring in some responses that some of the community had. So we're going to be, sharing some of what they said.
Absolutely. We want to hear from you guys. We want to share those responses, and we're going to do that in this session. And let's face it, you guys have absolutely killer insights. So we got to share them. That's the short story.
That's the short and long of it, as they say, right, Tim?
Yeah. Okay, Kurt, where do you want to start? What's going to be our first group question?
Let's do this question. What helps you? So one of the questions we asked is what helps you take more chances and push beyond your comfort zone, right? So this is an idea of, we talked about, hey, we most of us say we want to grow, we want to stretch, we want to try new things, right? But we don't. We're comfort is sticky, status quo is familiar, even when that status quo isn't fulfilling, But we often don't know how to get out of that, right? So how do we go and stretch ourselves? How do we take more chances? And so we asked people this. We asked them, so what do you do mentally, emotionally, or practically to push yourself out of your comfort zone? Do you use any tricks or mantras or routines or accountability systems to nudge yourself towards risk or growth? So, Tim, I want to ask you first off, what are some of the things that you do to push yourself out of where your comfort zone is?
It's fake it till you make it. That's because,
and we're still faking it with the podcast, aren't we?
Almost 8 years in, and we're still faking it. Exactly. But for me, it's I just sort of adopt this persona, like other people do this. I'm not sure if I'm really going to enjoy this, or I'm just scared of doing it. But I'm going to act like I know how to do this. I'm going to act like it's okay. And so I'm just going to I'm going to put myself in that position of I'm a person that does this, and I'm just going to go do this. And this is especially this. I remember feeling this very distinctly when I was early in my career as a manager, and leading people and have to start doing reviews. It's like, oh man, it was just killer. To give people negative feedback or say, look, you're not living up to expectations. I just thought, I've got to find something virtuous in this. for them, if not for me. Like they need to hear that, if not so much about just them personally, but their lack of fit with the organization in what this job is asking of them. And then so I just said, I'm the guy who's going to deliver that news to them,
Yeah.
and that was okay, and
So,
that
so
got me through.
reframing it to a certain degree, right?
Yep.
Reframing
Yep.
this angst in what you're trying to do is like, oh, it's a negative thing. I have to give this bad, but no, actually reframe that to this is actually helping them in the long run. Is that part of it?
That's part of it, absolutely. And the central part of it was fake it till you make it for me.
Fake it till you
Like,
make it, right?
just act like you know how to do it. Give it a try. If it fails, so what? Keep
Yeah.
moving.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting. I know for myself, there's a bunch of uh, different little tricks that I do. One of them is the reframing piece that you said is how can I think about this? It's yes, it is this, and not then it's the opposite as well. It's yes, that is this, and it could be this as well, right? So yes, it will be hard to deliver that bad news to that person, and it could be a good thing for that person in the long run.
Yeah.
Yes, it's going to be painful, but there's going to be some relief at the end of this for me as well. And so switching just that little bit of my mindset around that is often really, really good. I think I want to go to some of the responses though that some of our people talked about. So, when we asked this, what helps you take more chances and push beyond your comfort zone? We had a number of people responding. Paul Levitin said, and I'm going to quote here, so I'm going to read this: the understanding and belief that I will always be okay. I have within me the capacity to overcome any obstacle or recover from any setback. And that means I don't have to fear failure or worry about pushing boundaries because that doesn't matter what happens. I know I will be okay. This is true self-confidence.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought that was really insightful. It's this
It really
idea,
is. Yeah.
and I think this happens as we age, right? That, oh my gosh, I've been through situations that are like this, and I know it was painful and hard and difficult. But look, I survived. I'm still here. I'm okay. I might have actually grown from that situation, and having that experience, I think, often helps us.
It absolutely does. But it is absolutely like we won't know the boundaries of where our joy and happiness in life occur or ends unless we actually give it a try, unless we
Yeah,
actually move, because life is always changing. Our world
yeah,
is constantly changing. So the boundaries that we had yesterday or the week before or the year before or 5 years ago, they might not be applying exactly to the way I am today and in my current life. God knows my life has changed so much in the last 5
yeah.
years that what is going to bring me happiness has to be rediscovered. I have
Yeah.
to.
So yeah, and being okay, being out of that comfort zone, your comfort zone might have changed, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
because your comfort zone used to be much smaller, and now your comfort zone might have grown bigger. So it might even take more to push you out of that. Hey Groovers, quick break from the conversation to talk about something we don't bring up enough on the show.
Yeah, that's right. When we're not behind the mic, we're working with organizations to apply behavioral science in ways that actually move the needle for leaders, teams, and whole cultures.
So whether it's designing smarter incentives, boosting engagement, setting goals that actually stick, or helping teams navigate change, we bring real science to real workplace challenges.
And we don't just talk theory. Our approach blends research-backed insights with hands-on strategies that drive results. Now, we've seen small behavioral shifts lead to big wins in Fortune 500 companies and scrappy startups and even in mission-driven nonprofits.
Yeah, and we bring the same curiosity, creativity, and care to our client work that we bring to every episode of the show.
Really, I think people might want more than what we bring to the show.
You probably have a point there. You're probably right.
Okay, so we'll bring more care and creativity to our work with you and your teams than what we do on the show.
Yes, more care. So if you're ready to build stronger motivation, better team dynamics, and maybe even make your workplace a little more groovy,
Yeah, reach out to us. grab us on LinkedIn or Facebook, or just drop us a line. We'd love to help you and your team find your groove.
I'm going to bring in another response. This is from Michael Anschel. And Michael wrote, I feel like this is a hard question to answer. My blind spot, which he quote unquote puts in there, is most likely on high alert, keeping me in the realm of comfort, even if I think I might be pushing it. Funny, but my initial thought was, what comfort zone, right? But thinking about it more, my risk aversion in business and some of the new materials or assemblies that I resist are probably just that. I heard something once that whenever you feel strong resistance to something, that hot under the collar knee jerk no, he had in parentheses, that that is the moment to pause and to try to look inside at the why or the what. It is usually nothing of substance, maybe some habit, some bias, some belief. Question is it important to get outside of my comfort zone if I feel like I'm thriving within it?
Super insightful. Thank you, Michael, for sharing that. And yeah, I mean, one of the things that really strikes me about Michael's comment is pointing to the nuance and the complexity of who we are. Like, it's not easy to just say it's this or it's that. I mean, excuse me, it is easy to say it's this or it's that, but that might not be accurate. That there could be more. It just could be more interesting to actually explore. Well, what if it's this? We've often talked about our feelings as being kind of blunt instruments. It's like a very blunt compass. It basically says north or south. It doesn't really give you much, differentiation between. And so it's worth actually stopping and going, well, wait a minute, why am I reacting that way? What is actually underneath the surface? And it's not easy all the time.
Yeah. And I think there's a really important part of what he talks about is, do I need to get out of my comfort zone if I feel like I'm thriving in it? Is there a need to push boundaries? Who did we have on the show when it was like, scare yourself every day, right? And I've heard that over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And sometimes I go, why? Why do I need to scare myself every day? I'm feeling pretty good. And I think there's an aspect of this that if we get too comfortable and we never scare ourselves, that we never push that comfort zone, that leads to stagnation.
Yes.
But there's the opposite of always being on hyper alert and always scaring yourself or pushing yourself beyond where your comfort zone is. That has negative consequences as well. And I think there's some nice, it's the Goldilocks piece, Tim. It's the Goldilocks.
Right. Wherever you are on the spectrum of comfort, like there's AJ Jacobs way, way out on the living a life experimentally. Like AJ is just constantly trying to experiment and think up new things. And like that's his comfort zone. That's his Goldilocks zone, actually. That's not everybody's. You have to have to kind of understand who you are and where your Goldilocks zone is in order to understand where would be the good places to push it. Where would be the good places to experiment just beyond it? Kurt, what else have you got? What other questions?
Well, there's a couple other responses I just want to get to. So Kirk Spencer said, a community that pulls me in or at least dares me to do it. Again, we've talked about people, this idea that community helps us, that there are those pieces. And sometimes that's very true. We need that push. We need that shove. And sometimes that can't be internally driven. It needs to be driven by others. Right. And, this is also something, if you know you need to do this, join a group. If you know, like, hey, I want to get in shape, but man, my comfort zone is laying in bed every morning and not getting up and running. Well, join a running group, right? And that running group, runs at 7 a.m. every morning. You're going to more likely get up and run. There's lots of different things that I think we can do that, right? And I think we all need that support community, and that support community can help us in pushing those boundaries. And then Steve Yeager said, trusting my instinct. And I thought that was cool.
Yeah. So this adds to the complexity of it's, on one hand, we kind of have to go against our gut from time to time. And the opposite side of that coin is sometimes our gut can actually be a really good measure of what feels good, what is the right thing to do. And it's good to pay attention to that.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say on that.
All right. Well, that's good. We had a number of other questions, but I think in essence of time, I think we won't go and kind of talk through. But again, I encourage all of our listeners out there, join our Facebook group community. It's a wonderful place. We got lots of really good responses from people who are sharing thoughts, and we're asking some questions.
Yeah.
We'll give you some insights into some of the behind the scenes things here at Behavioral Grooves, and just a good place to connect. It's a community that if you need to push a little push to get beyond your comfort zone, well, you can join the Behavioral Grooves community on Facebook, and they can help you with that.
And if you haven't checked us out on YouTube yet, do so, but you might need to wear a mask. I'm not sure, so you cover up your eyes so you don't have to look at Kurt and me. But
I was saying, why do you need to wear a mask? It's virtual, man. Oh, your eye mask. You need to wear a blindfold. Yes,
blindfold. Yes. That's the correct terminology. Thank you. But check us out on YouTube because it's hey, all the cool kids are doing it. So I think you just want to call attention to that.
All right. With that, folks, we hope you go out and find your groove this week.